So Big Bear was up 23% in yesterday's trading session. It's looking bullish right now. It's broken a key price level of 477. It does look as if it wants to move higher. So in this video, I'm going to talk about this trading opportunity, some possible entry rules, and the upside potential for this AI stock. Let's take a look. Now, if you find value in my analysis of BigBear.AI stock today or other stocks on my channel, you may also find value in my email newsletter. If you subscribe, I'll send you professional trading tips to help you increase your profits trading stocks. I'll leave a link in the description below. Check it out. So on screen, you can see the daily chart for BigBear.AI. And yesterday was a massive trading session. The price increased by 23% in yesterday's session. And you can see, looking at the analytics on the right here, whatever you look at, the week, the month, 3 months, 6 months, year to date, it's a sea of green. So this stock is looking bullish. There's a lot of buying interest coming into this stock, and the technicals are showing a strong buy, as well as the fundamentals. And you can see why when you look at the screen. This stock is trending up. You can see on the weekly chart that I've added a trend line just to confirm this stock is moving up, including the significant price troughs of December 22 and also the trough here of August 24. So you can see that price is moving up, creating higher lows as it does so. And since August 2024, this point here, you can see Big Bear is breaking away from this longer term trend line. It moved up quite aggressively to create this significant price peak of around $10, which was in February this year. It's pulled back since then into this support level of around 230. It's moved up, and now it has broken this key price level of around about 477, which I've marked up, and it corresponds to this peak back here in March 2024. So right now it does look as if buyers want to take the price of Big Bear higher. And if you're trading on Dow theory, this would constitute an entry. You could enter this week, or you could perhaps wait for next week for the price to close above this key level. Depends on your strategy. Now we've got this long-term trend line in place, but it does look as if since this price trough here, Big Bear is actually starting to create a new trend, an accelerated trend away from the longer trend. So you can see I've added another trend line incorporating this significant trough here of August 24, around about $1.20, and also the most recent trough at this key level of 235. So with these two troughs, I've added a trend line, and it does show that Big Bear potentially is trending away from this longer term trend. In other words, the trend is accelerating and the price is moving up. Now, before I talk about some possible entry rules for this trending AI stock, I want to mark up all the key price levels so we can map out exactly where possible price targets might be. So working from top to bottom, the first one I want to mark up is the all-time high for Big Bear, which is here, created in April 2022, and that's around $16. So let's mark that one up. Underneath that, we've got this significant price peak created in February this year. It's around about $10 and corresponds to the peak right here. Underneath that one, we've got a price peak created here back in February 2023, and that's around 678. So let's mark that. Underneath that, we've already marked up this key price level here, which is 477. We can see that was created from the peak in March 2024. And more importantly, we can see that yesterday, Big Bear traded right through this key level of resistance, showing the buyers are strong. Underneath that level, we've got this price trough here of 235. Corresponds to where Big Bear found support after it got sold off from here. It does look as if this is a key level. Price has bounced off here and is now moving up. And under that level, we've got this key level of around about $1.15. Corresponds to this significant trough here, this low here, and also this low here. So you can see Big Bear has come down and tested this level multiple times, showing that this is a price point where price does reverse. So I'll mark that up. And I've already marked up here the all-time low of around 57 cents. So based on these key price levels, we can see that since Big Bear created this peak back here in February 2025, it was sold off and it found support at this key level of 235. Since then, the buyers have come back in and price is moving up. And yesterday, most importantly, has broken through this key level here, showing that the buying is strong and price is more likely to move higher, possibly to trade up to this next level here of 675. And as I mentioned earlier, it does look as if Big Bear is creating an accelerated trend line. Since this inflection point here, it found support, it has moved up. It got sold off, but you can see the sellers weren't able to take the price of Big Bear further than this point here. Now, if selling was strong enough, then price would have fallen back to the support line here around 160 to continue with this longer term trend. But it didn't do that. And it does show that this stock is bullish. It does show as if, because it found support here, it looks as if now this new trend line is emerging, a steeper trend. Now, steeper trends generally aren't as sustainable as your sort of traditional 45-degree trend, but it's not looking bad at all now. It doesn't look overbought. And I think it looks as if now, after price has found support here, it's now broken this line here. There's a good chance that the price will move up further. So the big question is, should you buy Big Bear now, this week, after that big 23% rise yesterday? Let's talk about some possible entry rules and the risk to reward. So firstly, looking in detail at the daily chart, we can see up until yesterday, Big Bear was moving up steadily, creating these higher lows as it moved up, moving towards this level here. But yesterday was a massive day. It did break out, adding 23% in just one session. So this is a big move, but it's not unusual for Big Bear. If we look back on the price action, we can see that Big Bear does do this quite often. So you can see here, this was a big breakout here, these 2 days, and also this move here. Now, more importantly, is what happens after the price increases this amount. Usually it does pull back. So you can see here, price moved up and then it pulled back around about 50% of the move up. So you've got the move from here to here, and then it pulled back around half the move up to here. Similarly, when it moved from this trough to this peak here, it pulled back around 50%. This is something to be aware of because it's quite tempting to jump in on Big Bear, right now, perhaps tomorrow when the market opens based on this big move. But you may not get the best price. It may be an idea to see what price does for the whole of this week. Will it close for the week above this key level? Now, depending on your rules, you may want to enter this stock this week, as in tomorrow's trading session when the market opens. Essentially, we've got that Dow theory rule being confirmed because we can see since this low here, price has traded up. It's created this peak here. It's now pulled back to create this higher low. And now we've got confirmation that the buyers are in control because price has now broken above this peak here. Not only this price peak here, but this key level of 477 corresponding to this peak over here. So we've got confirmation. But of course, the confirmation is only for 1 day. So depending on your rules, will you wait until the price closes for the week above these key levels and peak, or will you enter tomorrow? Now that's up to you. Obviously, it is higher risk to enter basically on 1 day's price action rather than waiting for the price action to close for the complete week. Effectively, you're saying, you've got 4 trading days of buyers saying they want the price to go higher rather than just 1 day. So using the weekly rule is probably lower risk, but you might miss some of the move upwards if it goes up. Now, based on my experience, I'd be more inclined to wait for the entire week to close above the line to get that confirmation. It'll give me more confidence that the buyers are in control. So we might see a pullback after this big bar here, like we have seen, in the past. So what we might see is price, after it's come up here, got this higher low, it's broken out. We might see that this week price does close above this line, but perhaps it pulls back slightly. And if it does so, that would give you confirmation and you can buy the stock next week on market open. Now, if you're more conservative, you may want to wait another week to see what price action does next week. Because we know that Big Bear often pulls back after a big breakout, it may just do that next week. So it might close high this week, it might close right here, but next week what we might find is that, let's say it closes at 560 this week, we might find next week you get one red bar, has a pullback before taking off once again. And of course, you could use Dow theory to enter above this peak, giving you confirmation. It all depends on your rules and risk appetite. Obviously then, using this delayed rule, you're giving up some profit for more confirmation. I think overall, weighing up all these rules, risk to reward, I'd be inclined to buy this stock on market open next week. It has traded up, it has given us confirmation. The buyers are in control. It's created that higher low. Remember, sellers have been in the market. They haven't been able to push Big Bear below this level of 363 over the last 3 weeks. They haven't broken this level. And now the buyers are seeing value at this price. They've come back in and they've taken it up. So I think if price closes for the week, this week, above this key price level, perhaps where it is, that would give me the confidence to take an entry on this stock. And if you were to take an entry on Big Bear, what sort of profit is available to the upside? So an entry around 520, where it closed yesterday, would give you an upside around 30% to this next key target of 678, and you could set an initial 15% stop loss. Next target after 678 would be the $10 resistance line, and that would give you almost 100% upside and a risk to reward ratio of 6.1. So a great trade potentially on offer for Big Bear. So that's the upside potential, but what about the downside risk? This week will be interesting because we're going to see how committed the buyers are to taking Big Bear higher. We've just got 1 day breakout at the moment, so we need the rest of the week to hold up and show the buyers are committed to taking the price higher. If the buyers aren't committed and we see selling pressure in the next few trading days, then we might see price effectively move back down. So a breakout in the next few days, but perhaps this week it'll actually close underneath. It won't close above this key level, and this is why it's important to consider waiting for the price action for the whole week to give you confirmation that the move is on. So perhaps if it doesn't break this level this week, it might fall away. It might come back once again to test 360. It might come back and find support of the trend line before having another go. And worst case scenario, it might come back to test this key level here of 230 or even this level here. However, I think right now the probability is that Big Bear is moving up. I'd be very surprised if price moves lower than this area here. We've got this emerging trend line confirming price wants to move up. But all depends on your rules and strategy and your risk appetite. So overall, BigBear.AI is looking really good. It's looking bullish. It does look as if buyers want to take the price higher. So let me know what you think in the comments. Are you going to take an entry this week or wait for next week for confirmation? Thanks for watching.